The way Minnesota's sexual assault statutes are written, it is legal for a religious leader to sexually assault someone so long as it happens in public. A judge recently made that ruling in court. If that sounds wrong to you, a Duluth woman thought so too, until she learned the fake medicine man charged with sexually assaulting her would get away with it. It all comes down to the legal definition of public versus private and who gets justice in the system. A warning, this story involves a description of sexual assault that may make some uncomfortable. We're also protecting the identities of the women involved in this case.
I pretty much walked into my own home. He was there in the living room.
When Amy got home on a cold night in February 2017, a predator was waiting for her.
He was very convincing.
Charles Armajo claimed to be a medicine man. He had already done a healing ceremony on Amy's roommate. She says he then started pressuring her to do a ceremony.
He said, I need to do a ceremony on you. I had a dream that I needed to protect you on your journey. I need to do this.
Dreams carry a lot of weight in Native culture. A member of a local tribe, Amy says it made her think he was real and could help her.
I was thinking this was the chance to do that, to get that healing.
Amy's other roommate, Jane, says she had a bad feeling and decided to sit in on the ceremony.
Something doesn't feel right. Like, I do not feel comfortable going through with this ceremony. I don't feel comfortable leaving you alone.
Amy says Armajo had her shower so she'd be clean for the ceremony. She expected to be covered, but when she laid down, he took off her towel.
I said, why do I have to be naked? And he said, it's the Dene ceremony. You can look it up. So I thought it was legitimate. But I realized very quickly that it was not when he started touching me in sexual ways that I didn't want.
First of all, I was uncomfortable, but I could also tell that she was uncomfortable. And at some point, I was just like, Amy, you don't have to go through with this.
I just started bawling and wanted to be covered, and my friend in the room grabbed a rope and covered me, and he kept saying, we're not done, we're not done.
Yes, we are done. We're done. That's it. You need to leave. This is over.
She says eventually Armajo left.
It was just like, what the heck just happened?
It wasn't until later, when Amy spoke to tribal elders, she understood Armajo was a fraud and what had happened wasn't a real ceremony, but a crime. It hadn't just happened to her. Amy and Jane's other roommate, who took part in a ceremony, says he also assaulted her. Amy decided to report her assault to Duluth police. According to their report, the officer initially decided the assault didn't meet the requirements to press charges.
The Duluth Police Department told you that despite the fact that he touched you in a sexual manner that you didn't want, it did not qualify as criminal sexual conduct.
Yes.
Did they have any kind of an explanation for why they would make that conclusion?
I just remember he had the statute printed out and was referencing it.
The state statute says sexual contact by clergy is a crime if it happened during a religious ceremony in private. Amy says it took pressure from tribal and legal advocates for Duluth police to move forward with charges.
Do you think if you hadn't had those connections, they would ever have taken you seriously?
I don't think that if I had the tenacity and connections that this would have gone anywhere.
The St. Louis County Attorney's Office took over the case. It ended up going to a grand jury, which indicted Armajo on 3 counts for his assault on Amy and her roommate. Amy thought justice was coming until Armajo's lawyer filed for dismissal. It all came down to the words "in private." And because Jane had been in the room, the lawyer argued the ceremony was not private.
Most sexual assault cases are oh, there's no witness, so we can't do it. And I am literally the perfect witness. We were literally in the privacy of our own home.
6th District Court Judge David Johnson didn't agree, writing in his ruling, even though the assault didn't happen in public in a traditional sense, because Jane was there, it also didn't happen in private. Johnson dismissed the charge that would have held Armajo accountable for Amy's assault.
I'm just still kind of trying to wrap my head around it because it doesn't logically make sense to me, because criminal sexual conduct by clergy, in my opinion, should be illegal whether it's in private or not.
Did you feel that your supposed ceremony took place in private?
Absolutely. You can't get more private than your personal home.
Wanting to leave it behind her, Amy's other roommate dropped her charges. Armajo was off the hook.
So it's done. No justice in Minnesota for this man.
According to the Department of Justice, Indigenous women are more likely to face violence and sexual assault than any other racial group in the nation. Amy's fight to be taken seriously in the legal system is a very familiar tale for Native advocate Nicole Matthews.
Is when you have cases like this, what it does is it sends a really strong message about whose lives are important and about who gets justice and who has access to justice.
Matthews says that system is not designed to get justice for everyone.
They were built on the habits of white supremacy, and they were built on systems that were not necessarily created for all people.
Amy is now working to find her own justice. She filed a complaint against DPD in 2018, asking the department to ensure officers receive cultural sensitivity and sexual assault training. She's also counting on the state legislature. Lawmakers are currently considering a bill to update Minnesota's sexual assault statutes, which experts said were outdated and badly written.
How does it feel to know that your case, your sexual assault case, fell apart because of a badly written law?
I mean, I think it can be made right. I absolutely think that lawmakers have an opportunity right now to make it right.
Senator Jen McEwen, who represents Duluth, says she supports the update to the sexual assault statutes. It does not include a clarification of the statute about clergy assault, but McEwen says it's crucial the state government has a better relationship with area tribes and incorporates cultural understanding into our laws.
When we don't do that, our law is reflecting a very antiquated and colonialist attitude that, again, doesn't serve us as a people, as a community today.
It's been 4 years of time, effort, and tears. Amy says speaking out is her way of healing while pushing for change.
It's absolutely worth it. Even though my case was dismissed, this still all was absolutely worth it.
The Duluth Police Department, the St. Louis County Attorney's Office, and 6th District Court Judge David Johnson all declined interviews for this story. DPD did issue a statement saying the case was unique and the department worked with Amy and a tribal representative to see how it fit into state statutes, then advocated for the case to be prosecuted. The department says it has a history of working with the community to improve its response to sexual assault cases. And you're probably wondering what happened to Charles Armajo. In my research, I found he'd been arrested as far back as 2006, accused of sexual assault by a woman who said he was posing as a dance instructor. Then 8 months after Amy says he assaulted her in 2017, he was in Wyoming and had gotten married. There he was found guilty of sexually assaulting his 15-year-old stepdaughter during a fake ceremony. He's currently serving a 10-year sentence and is a registered sex offender.